guys, and welcome to another episode on my channel. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Today we are going to talk about and get to try some chocolate chip brownie cookies from Jackson Crafts by none other than Miss Caprice Jackson herself. And I have to say that I really like the bag appeal. You know, a lot of people do use the classic sandwich bag, but it's nice to have a color and have it switched up a little bit. And honestly, I miss the sandwich bag thing. I've seen at a lot of these events and, you know, a lot of the Instagram posts, everybody's got the flashy bags, and it's like, hey, those are great, but now everybody's doing it, and it's becoming a trend. So it's kind of, it feels like home. And then knowing that they're homemade, it's a really nice home, warm kind of feeling, you know? And if you're into that kind of thing, then definitely hit up Jackson's Crafts, and I'm sure you'll see some images popping up on the screen to show you some social media. They're a little bit, we'll talk about this real quick, they are a little bit hard. Remember, they're brownie cookies, so after they sit, mine have been sitting now for a couple of days because they were gotten on Sunday. They do get a little hard. If you're like a hard cookie fan, great. If you're a soft cookie fan, then I recommend microwaving it like I did. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit on this episode is something that I know a lot of people hate talking about. And, you know, mental health is touchy. You know, any of that kind of personal thing is very much a touchy subject. But for me, and I don't know about you as viewers, but a lot of people don't like hearing the word therapy. For me, I heard the word therapy and I was like, I don't want to do that shit. No, like it makes you kind of feel like something's wrong with you, and you know, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but never look at it that way. You know what I mean? There is nothing really wrong with you. Maybe your brain works a little bit differently, or your feelings are a little bit different than somebody else's, but there is nothing wrong with you. Okay? I just want to establish that real quick. But obviously nobody likes to talk about therapy. You know, if you're in a relationship, your wife or your husband brings up therapy, you're like, oh, what the hell did I do now? Or, you know, oh shit, it's going to be time for a divorce. Or, you know, it's always a negative thought that comes to mind, no matter what aspect of therapy you're thinking about, whether it's personal, relationship, you know, family, anything like that. Therapy can be scary. It can be... There are a lot of words for therapy. We'll just put it like that. There's a lot of words that I could use to describe therapy. But one therapy, and it was a group therapy for me, that I found extremely helpful was DBT. And I was coerced into it. I'm not going to lie. I was coerced by my therapist, no less. And I was very hesitant. It wasn't something that I was even remotely interested in doing. So I honestly skipped the first one, and then when I went to the second one, I was planning on leaving early, you know, coming up with some kind of excuse like, hey, I don't feel good, I gotta go, whatever. And I stayed for the whole group, and I found it really enlightening and intriguing, and not so much helpful the first time, but it was enough that it made me want to go back. Now, for those of you who don't know what DBT is, it's dialectical behavior therapy. And it's a kind of cognitive form of therapy, when like emotion-based, and it teaches you self-awareness, it teaches you mindfulness, acceptance. There are a lot of really, really, really great little counterparts that come along with DBT. For me, I personally took away from DBT the mindfulness of it all. And there was a lot of meditation, there was a lot of different tips and tricks and things to do to become more mindful, and the acceptance of it all as well. You know, once I was more self-aware and more mindful of, you know, what I was doing, who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what makes me angry, what doesn't, what upsets me, you know, what rubs me wrong, whatever. Once I was able to be, you know, aware of that and mindful of that, I was able to accept that. And acceptance it's a big thing, and it can be life-changing. For me, it was life-changing, and a lot of my life I thought there's something wrong with me, you know, either I was too much or I was too loud, or, you know, whatever have you, and I always thought I was the problem. And, you know, in some cases I was the problem, in some cases everybody is, you know, sometimes you do got to take a step back, but there was nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with who I am. There's nothing wrong with how I feel, or, you know, the way I react, or I even lost my train of thought there. So, you know what? We're gonna get into eating these cookies. I know I've been rambling, so we're gonna get into eating these cookies before they start to get hard on me, because I did put them in the microwave. So, we talked a little bit about what DBT is. I'll talk a little bit more about some experiences that I had when I attended groups. It was just a fucking regular brownie. I will say too, I didn't smell the weed. I was worried. I hate butter, like weed butter and chocolate. Any kind of fucking chocolate edibles, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. And when I had the pleasure of having a conversation with Caprice, we were talking about everything that she was making, and let me tell you, she makes zucchini bread infused, she makes chocolate chip cookies, she can make anything that you want infused, and we're talking homemade, like real homemade, the legit shit, you guys, the legit shit. Now, for me, I'm gonna talk in my mouth full.
Oh.
For me, I like the corners when I eat the brownies. I like pan, you know? I like that crunchy little corner, whatever. It's my favorite. I'm really digging the crunchy outer. And when it's warmed up, it does get soft in the middle. Real soft. Really nice texture to the cookie. Really good taste. Now, for all my milk lovers, you drink milk. You know, we gotta get some milk in there. I'm gonna show y'all this because I warmed it up. I know the lighting's not the greatest, but if you can see the chocolate chips that are just melted in this cookie, like, you guys, I'm so excited. And yes, back to what I was talking about. She can make anything that you want homemade infused. And when I saw that she was making a brownie cookie, I hopped on that shit. I hopped on that shit so fast. I was like, yes, I need some. I definitely need some. And she is very accommodating. We live a little far apart. Not too far, but a little far apart. And she was so accommodating that she met up at an event, and I was supposed to be there, and unfortunately I didn't have the pleasure of making it, although I really freaking wanted to. I was so disappointed. But she even let me electronically donate, and then she gave the cookies to a friend for me. It's very accommodating. So that's definitely going to play into my overall rating at the end here, because we are going to start applying ratings, because I haven't been doing that shit either. So, in the milk does bring out the weed taste just a little bit. However, the chocolate chips inside the cookie give it a nice, really, really smooth aftertaste, really milky. I like it. So, I'm always all over the place. You guys got the gist of it. I don't even know how to talk right. So, you guys got the gist of it. I will be back after I eat the rest of these cookies, and I let this kick in, and I will show y'all exactly how I will be feeling at that point, and then we will go from there. Alright guys, so it's reaction time. One thing that I'm going to say, okay, don't eat 3. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, if you're, you know, ready to go to bed, or you're really trying to get fucked up, then eat 3, you know? But if you're a lightweight, or, you know, you don't if you don't really have a high tolerance, maybe eat 1 cookie, because they're pretty decent. I want to say that she said that she uses 2, I think my glasses are crooked. Okay. I want to say that she said that the cookies are 2/3. I mean, not the cookies, the... Okay, so she uses 2/3 cup of butter We're back to 24 cookies, I think she said. Forgive me. Okay, just... Can we just... Oh. Oh my god. It's a good thing that it's nighttime for me. When you're watching this, I don't know exactly what time it's gonna be, but thank God it's nighttime. So, back to some of the things that I was talking about earlier. Dialectical behavioral therapy. For me, what I took away from it the most was the mindfulness, the awareness, and the acceptance. One thing that stood out for my... This is so crooked, it's gonna fall off. Okay, see, this is what I'm saying. Don't eat free cookies, okay? That's... Anywho. One thing that stood out to me the most during DBT group that I still use today is that in like a high stress or like, I guess, high anxiety situation or like overwhelming situation, it's a little tip and like trick, little, not really mantra, but this kind of thing to do when you get overwhelmed or whatever, and it's using your senses, you know, finding 5 things you can taste, touch, whatever, you know, and 4 things you can smell, and 3 things you can hear, and so on and so forth. I probably have them all in the wrong order because I'm high as shit, but whatever. The point is I still use that. Like, even if I don't do it in the correct order, you know, use the senses, because it's something that grounds you in the midst of all that chaos. It's something that makes you feel centered, or it does for me anyway, and maybe it could for you. It's definitely worth checking out. Again, nobody wants to hear therapy. Nobody wants to hear that word. Nobody wants to do it. And if you do, even better, you know, and check out DBT group, because I'm telling you, all the stuff, all the exercises, all the activities that I did in the group therapy, it was so helpful, and it is still helpful to me every day now. And I took the group in like 2014. It's been quite some years, and for me to still be hung up on that and want to apply the things that I've learned, you know, from all those years ago now, it's saying something. You know, DBT group was amazing for me, and they offer different forms of DBT. You know, it doesn't have to be a group therapy. You can do a one-on-one therapy. You can even do it over the phone, and I'm sure they have like a video thing for like COVID, you know, so that you don't have to go in and whatever. But the point is that, like, even if you're not suicidal, even if, you know, you're not depressed, even if you're not an overwhelmed person, or even if you're not, you know, a super angry person, or even if you don't feel a need to go to therapy, you know, sometimes you still might find it helpful anyway. Even if you feel 100% okay, I bet you that by the time that you leave even 1 to 2 sessions of a DBT kind of therapy, you're going to feel 110% or even more. You know, that 100%, it might even double, you know, depending on the kind of person that you are. If you're super positive and you go in and you find out like new ways to be even more positive, then that shit could double and you're going to come out feeling 200%. So it's definitely worth checking out. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, and honestly, like, I don't know, like, dude, the cookies are really good, and the donation is pretty fair. I got a little deal because I wanted 6 cookies. I got a half dozen, and the donation that I gave was $25, and that's really not bad. Basically, I got a cookie for free, which was really dope. There's chocolate chip, there is cookies, there's the brownie ones that I ate, there is zucchini bread. She also makes stuff that's not infused. She makes jarred sauce, she makes homemade pickles, and I can't wait to get my hands on some of those. Oh my gosh, I'm already just thinking about it. There's a lot she does. She makes cups, she makes t-shirts, she makes rolling trays, you name it. See the image popping up for that on the screen. And then her name is Caprice Jackson. She's from Jackson's Crafts. She is such an amazing woman. She is so bubbly. She is so lighthearted and such a free spirit. And do that.